Good morning, everyone. My button isn't working anymore to be able to switch the camera on and off, so I'm up and down in between the readings. And so if I appear a bit shifty, that's exactly what I am doing, shifting around. Today's reading is going to be How Are My Pets in Spirit World? Just a few thoughts before I start. These are bits that I've read, not so much that I believe. I don't really know what I believe actually about these. But I did read something years and years ago that animals are not only a reflection, I didn't actually read this, I heard this, that animals are a reflection of who we are at that particular time in our life. And I can remember my mum going through a particularly bad period and we got this sheepdog that was just mad and dangerous and mad. It had different coloured eyes, and in the end we had to take it back to the farm. We've had loads and loads of pets, that's the only one that we took back. So that was just a thought. And when you get those animals that are really lovely and sweet, you know, they may be a reflection of who you are at that time. Another thought was that this isn't a thought, sorry, this is something that I have read, that animals, if animals have spirits, they, and I don't know whether this is true, it's the accumulation of the sort of, and I feel really bad saying this, especially to my cat Alma, who is incredibly advanced. It's like an accumulation of bottom end energy that pulls together to make what I guess are higher forms of animal kingdom humans. I don't know if that's true, just another thought there. So if you've got lots of really sort of intuitive and bright pets or animals, or, you know, around the world, and they all come together, and then we are an accumulation of that. Do you think that's true? And that was it in reference to how we treat our animals and how we bring up their trust and their understanding and, you know, who they are as an animal. It's how they advance into humans. Just a thought. I'm not saying I believe this. It's just things I find interesting. The last thing I find interesting is one of my favourite books that I read when I was a teen, I think, or early 20s, was The Boy Who Saw True. It's a diary about a Victorian boy who could see spirits, and he had a tutor come to teach him. Can't speak this morning. A tutor come to teach him, and he said he always saw his dog by the side of him, and I think he actually said this tutor was just like a very open-minded, normal tutor, but he was open-minded. His parents weren't open-minded, they were very sort of Victorian, and he said, I can see your, I think it was a black Labrador by the side of him, who was like followed him around everywhere. And I think this opened up this tutor's mind to different things, and he helped him through basically opening up a bit to the talents that he had. Just a nice thought there, that our animals are somehow still hanging around with us, because I think the cut-off point between different worlds is not quite a strong boundary as we think. And I think through our thoughts, we can often almost swap over the boundary a bit. You know, you can bring people towards you when you meditate, or animals towards you when you meditate. Which goes to another story I'm going to start in a minute, of a friend that I had. Actually, she's not a friend, she's a sister-in-law, but they're divorced now, so I don't see her anymore. Who was, I'm guessing, quite young. I'm guessing primary school age, up to about 10 or 11. And her nana died, or her grandma died. And she used to pray on her knees by the side of the bed before she went to sleep. You know, just saying, you know, like, I don't know, love you, nana, sorry, you've gone type of thing. And she's not particularly one of these people that you can get lots of, you know, great stories out of in this vein. And she said that her nana appeared by the side of her. She's not a porcupine either. She's not somebody who would make it up for a bit of fun. But I don't know, just thoughts that these animals are still with us, and they can somehow cross boundaries by the more that we actually think about them, or how our thought, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, apart from all the rambling, let's get going. You have got three choices. Ace of Pentacles for number one. I was going to turn it that way to show you, but I forgot that I'm not away from home and it's up there. So Ace of Pentacles number one, the Chariot number two, and the Knight of Wands for number three.
La música de Harry Fraud.
I'm going to start talking. I'm going to say something before I start talking. I can feel it already. When I do, and I've done these twice now, when I do animal readings, it always makes me laugh, and I don't think there's any disrespect to your animals, because I know what it's like to fall madly in love with certain animals that you get in your life and you just can't explain it, but it's incredibly strong, and I think it's identifying as well with those parts of others and ourselves that, you know, animals just give automatically, like loyalty and love, and them being just who they are, and it's not all about us, it's all about them. A bit of both, I suppose. And that always makes me want to laugh when it gets to the bit when you're talking like an animal. So I don't mean to be disrespectful to you at all, or your animals, but I'm just going to go for it. Okay, with regards to this particular animal that you may be thinking about, I will tell you my thoughts. They may not resonate. They may feel like, what on earth is she going on about? But you've got the Three of Swords and the Emperor card here. So I'm thinking that your animal was the type of boss animal, the type of animal that didn't like other animals coming into their domain or into their house. There's a feeling here possibly that your animal could have been, with the Three of Swords and it's the Emperor, you know, the Emperor's a really sort of strong card where people like to be the top of everything and like to, you know, are very sort of good at it, but it's just part and parcel of who they are. But the Three of Swords behind it makes me think that could have been possible through pain. So, you know, you could have had a rescue animal, somebody that's not very secure and was aggressive or over assertive in some way, that you possibly nurtured with a Lover's card at the end. Between the pair of you, the bond was very strong. Just thoughts there. That's what I'm picking up from that. What else can I feel from this? And I know the question was, how are they in spirit world? But I'm just trying to look at general disposition or what type of animal. There's even a feeling here with the Emperor card here. And I did choose the animal cards on purpose to try and get a feeling of what type of animal it was. It could have been a large animal. This is where I feel like, you know, when you have those like skits on psychics and they're trying, it's almost like you can fit it into anything. But anyway, I'm just going to say what's in my head. A large animal, which is what I was about to say. It could be large for its breed, or it just could be like, you know, horse, large dog type animal. But you have got this, I don't know what it is, duck at the side here, but I'm still feeling larger animal, to be honest here, probably because it's more prominent. So what I'm getting here is animal that may have some sort of anxiety with regard and overassert itself. So if it's a dog, it could be a dog that is absolutely beautiful with you, but somehow at the postman, that type of feeling. Now, how are they in spirit world? To be honest, there's a feeling here that when they actually went, it could have been quite difficult. It could have been either over a long time, or that they didn't actually realise that they'd gone, is what I'm thinking here. So it feels like the change was they're difficult to adjust to, as in there was confusion there to begin with here, because you've got the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords here. So this is like a dog who, how do I say dog? I don't know if it is a dog. With the Eight of Swords here, this anxiety that they may have felt when they were young, possibly, or their nature from something that may have happened has almost carried over, and I know this isn't very positive, over with them into the other world, because these two cards, the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords, and this pile is how they're getting on. You know, they're quite difficult cards. I don't mean to be the deliverer of bad news, but this feels like a transition, and they're trying to sort it out, and they don't know where they are, which I don't really want to be saying, but that is what I'm getting here. Then what's crossing that is the Four of Air. So it feels like they've had a period of rest, or they've had a period of being quiet, and they've almost, you know, sort of adjusted to what I guess is a new environment. There is a feel of anxiety with your animal, whether they found it difficult to go into like new houses or new places, or they were quite close to you but not close to everybody else. An animal that loved you dearly but didn't adjust so well, like to going in the car or that type of thing. And if it's a budgie, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really know. Okay. Let me put some more cards on these ones here. Your person could, your animal could have not like lots of kids, could make, with these cards here, it's lots of people around you. I'm actually explaining the cards more in this one, just in case you think I'm going totally mad. There's a feeling here of anxiety. You've got the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords, and that's somebody that wants to get out of a situation, an animal that wants to get out of a situation, and there's anxiety here. There's power issues here with the Three of Swords, which has caused them, I guess, some sort of upset, maybe when they're younger, because it turns into the Lover's card, where they attach to probably you in a very, very strong way, but there's still some sort of, I guess, anxiety with movement or with other people. If I put these cards over it, there's lots of other people and there's children here. So your animal may not have like a lot of people around them. So there's a feeling here that with the transition, there's almost anxiety with what's going to come next. They don't like to be out of control. And then you've got here a period of rest. So it feels like there's a period of rest. What would they, and these cards here, what would your animal want to say to you if it could talk? And you've got here the King of Pentacles and the Seven of Pentacles. That makes me feel that the King of Pentacles is very assured in the environment. The environment that they're in, they feel like they own it. You know, they just feel secure in it. And you've got here cards of working on it. So it makes me feel that your pet has made a transition, which initially there was like, I don't know where I am, what is going on, I'm probably wanting comfort back, but has had a period of rest where they're actually settled in and beginning to feel secure, because, and I'm sure animals will be exactly the same as humans, that if we die, the environment that we have around us is part and parcel of the conscious, I don't really know what they are, I get them mixed up every time, that we take with us. So there would have been an adjustment period, which was followed by almost like a healing period here with the Four of Air. Yes, a healing period. There's like, what I would say, if they wanted to say something to you, is probably the amount of love that you gave this animal and the security and probably the stability that gave this animal is helping this animal settle into its other world in a way that is very sort of smooth, but it's taken a time to get there. But definitely the Lover's card here, and you've got the Star, you've got the Ten of Pentacles, which is family and hope, and you've got that heartbreak over a card which is like lying still. So this animal automatically, I think, has reverted back to maybe childhood or puppy issues or kitten issues or budgie baby issues, where it's like, oh my gosh, it's frightened, there's movement, there's change, don't like it. And then has had a period of rest where it's settled back onto the gifts that you've given it, which are, I guess, stability and love and warmth and just that feeling that everything's just okay. So now the transition goes to these concrete cards here, where it's slowly adjusting and is happy where it is, and it's all thanks to the environment that you set for this animal while it was on Earth. Okay, let me just go a little bit more into this. Okay, I'm asking here, what did your animal like most when it was on Earth? And you've got the Seven of Swords. And when I put this card out, I thought I'm going to say that, and then I didn't for no particular reason. I just forgot. This feels like an animal who was like used to take food. To be honest, is what I'm thinking, or was greedy, or even if it was a parrot, it took something that it wasn't, or it stole things that it wasn't meant to have. Because you've got this animal taking and sneaking out basically here as well as the same thing that it shouldn't have taken. And then you've got here Fortune. These readings always make me laugh. Then you've got the Fortune card, that the glee that this animal actually got from stealing things far outweighed the punishment. Oh dear. And that would be something probably to do with these piles here, where where the fact that there's stability and happiness, that will be what that your animal will be recreating. Sorry, I can't talk. Is that feeling of happiness, of taking things. Which, you know, with dogs especially, I bring my dog over to my sister's house here. Sometimes she's here, sometimes she's not. The first thing she does is she goes upstairs, eats the lard that my sister's left out, you know, the margarine, and then we'll go through chocolates that are on the low-lying table, and it's basically anything's on the floor, anything's game. So, and it makes her happy. Then she goes down to the bins and, you know, in the toilet, yep, and anywhere, and eats everything out the bins. So that's what your animal may be doing. If it's a different animal, maybe a goose, maybe a chicken, maybe a budgie, maybe a cat, there's still that feeling of doing something or getting away with something that gave them such glee. That's what they're recreating in their new world. Which I'm trying to think with cats, what would that be? It's got to be food again, you know, that type of thing, or even sneaking into a place or getting onto your bed or upstairs where it's not meant to be. You know, you chase it down, but those couple of seconds that they're sat in your pillow were worth it. So that's what I'm getting there. To sum this up, pile number 1 with regard to your animal in the other world and how are they getting on? To me, it feels like a difficult transition period for your animal where it didn't really know, and I don't mean to make you sad here at all, we didn't really know what was going on initially, which I think most pets must go through. It's like they're carrying on their everyday routine, but with a slight feeling that something has changed here. You know, maybe with referring to that book, The Boy Who Saw True, this animal, I'm going to make you sad, I'm really sorry. It could be your animal's trying to communicate with you, but you're not seeing it. Please don't cry, because I can feel the same myself. But then the transition happens slowly. They heal. They sort of realise that things are different. And what happens, to me, it feels like, is that the biggest gift that you've given this animal is making it feel secure and making it feel loved and making it feel happy. So it settles into that world. And then that's when these good parts got coming out, where, you know, your animal was probably very playful and a little bit naughty and took things with these 7 of Swords, which made them really happy. So they are just in their mindset, I suppose, of healing, going to fun again. So to me, it feels nice, and there's a really, really strong feeling of any anxiety that your animal may have had through moving into your house, don't even know what it was, through, you know, just general disposition, especially if you trained this animal in some way, is you made that, the time that you spent giving your love and your time to that animal has done, has had a huge effect on how this animal may advance possibly. Because it's like replaying happy memories. That's what I've got, pile number 1. I hope I haven't upset you there, because I have cried over animals even years after they've gone. So I know what it feels like. But that's what I've got. I'm going to leave you there, and I wish you all the best. And you know, just before you go to bed, it might be nice just to meditate for 10 minutes on your animal, and then you can almost feel it there. You know, you can do that. I'm sure that there's something in these stories that I sort of get from people, or that, you know, things that I read, and I sort of take them in and they sit on me. I don't really try and judge them too much. And then if they are basically, if people come to me and consolidate what I'm half thinking, then I start to believe it. We never really know, do we? And I keep putting things out there, and just for you to see what your beliefs are and what may click with you. And yeah, and whether it feels right to you or whether you've had experiences that are similar. And it's really interesting for me to know, and I'm forever learning. I can never really say anything that I say is right, because I really don't know, but I'm really interested. And there's so much outside ourselves, so much we need to learn and understand, and without being totally, you know, you've got to sort of joke with things because we don't know. And, you know, and what I suppose, I don't want to be one of those people that say that's not right. I don't believe that. And I've had lots of messages, especially on YouTube, with people. Actually, no, that's a lie. I haven't had lots of messages. I have had messages with people saying, you're talking complete fandoodle here. And they probably haven't even looked into it. If somebody came to me and said, look, I've been looking into tarot and these are the, this hasn't worked over a period of 5 years, or astrology, I studied it for a long period of time, and there is somebody who did do that and I can't remember his name, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's something like Guaqin, a French name, I think. And he did some statistical studies on it, and he wasn't really interested in it, and he changed him. But, we all want to believe what we want to believe, because that's how we form and make ourselves feel stable. So anyway, lots of talking today. I'm going to leave you there, pile number 1. Thank you very much. Bye. Okay, pile number 2. Before I start, I've got to make an apology here. For some reason, I've done animal readings before, maybe just once before, I think, and I thought before I was doing it, I can't do this. I just, will find it really difficult. I absolutely loved it. I do tend to find it funny, and I don't want to be disrespectful to you or your animals, because I know what it feels like to really, really adore an animal and to lose it and still be upset years afterwards. I think it's probably because when it comes to putting yourself in the shoes of the animal, it always feels funny to me. So I'm just saying, don't mean to be rude. Okay, with regards to your animal, I'm trying to look at this. I haven't really looked at the card yet, and I'm trying to think what type of animal it was. And I think I said this in pile number 1. It almost goes to, those old skits of psychics when they've covered every ground possible. This is what I'm about to do. You've got cats here. You've got larger mammals. You've got 2 larger mammals, or 3 more larger mammals. So I'm wondering whether this is either a bit like pile number 1, either a cat or a bigger dog. Or a camel. I don't know. I'm just thinking it's either bigger, big for its breed, or a large mammal. And you're going to say, no, it's a fish. But this is what I'm thinking from the clues I've got here, and that's all I've got to go with. So I'm going to carry on. There's a feeling here with regards to its general disposition, which I look at first, of 2 things, either being quite defensive, with the 7 of Wands here, and also being quite lazy. I'm not selling this to you, am I? Oh my gosh, you get an image of a dog that lies around a lot, enjoys its home time, enjoys being with you, close to your feet. It doesn't have to be a dog, it can be a cat. But once again, when the postman comes, it's up and ready and running. This is what these 2 cards feel like. You have got the 9 of Swords here. 9 of Swords with regards to here. 9 of Swords to me, my first thoughts are something could have happened in this animal's life where it was injured. Or, I know it can be like asleep, but I don't really see that as a problem for dogs and cats because they nap all day. I mean, it could be that, but like a cat with narcolepsy or something. But to me, with the 9 of Swords, with the 9 of Swords here, I'm thinking, he had a husky, which were a black husky, probably when my kids were young. So this was about 15 years ago, and its mum poked her eye. Beautiful looking dog, a grey big husky. She poked her eye out on a thorn or a bush when she was younger. I assume it was younger. So there's a feeling here your dog may be, or your cat or your camel may be missing something, or have an injury, or had an injury in their youth that affected them, and it was always, you could always see it, like a half an ear missing, or I'm trying to think what cats and dogs and mice have. So there's a possibility there, and it makes me think of an animal that spent a lot of time, and this can be for most animals, was very laid back, very sort of, you couldn't get it to do much. It's like, apart from walkies or doing some sort of exercise occasionally, it was quite a laid back type of animal with a slight defensive, as in nobody went near its beanbag, nobody went near its cage, or that was it. Its spot was its spot on the couch. Nobody went near it, and it went to the same spot every time. Now, this is where I felt I need to apologise because I knew I was going to laugh. This card down here is for how is it getting... How is it getting on in the spirit world? And then you've got the Devil card here. And I'm having memories here of Floyd, a dog, when we were kids. And whenever, we used to live by the beach, and so whenever we went down to do anything, if Floyd was on the beach, you ended with the dog on your back. It was not pleasant. And he used to basically hump anything that he could get near. There's a feeling here your animal may have been oversexed, and in the spirit world, it's quite happy carrying on those thoughts, those feelings. And animals do that, don't they? I mean, and I've said this in other readings. We used to have a cat. No, actually, sorry, my Auntie Pat had a cat called Benji. We had a cat called Ginger, both very similar natures with regards to what I'm about to say next. And they always used to like hump the couch or the side of the couch. So that, I'm afraid, I'm going to have to be literal here, and it may not apply. It probably doesn't apply, but I always feel it's best to say what I'm seeing rather than to twist it. So, but that's what I'm saying. Your animal could be quite a passionate animal and could be doing the Pepe Le Pew in the other world, chasing other cats or chasing other skunks or, other dogs or birds, whatever type of animal it was. And that was part and parcel what made it happy. Because I do think that animals do revert to their basic nature, even though they're somewhere else, they're still carrying their consciousness. Yeah, I think that's the right word with them. There's also a feeling here with the Five of Cups that your animal could possibly be, and there's always something in each pile that I feel is going to make you sad, and I don't really want to, but I'm just trying to be, trying to say what I'm thinking here with the Five of Cups, that it wonders where you are with the Five of Cups, because your Five of Cups is something that's lost. With this card in particular, it is somebody taking a picture, so it's like looking back and wondering and wanting and wondering where something's gone, and that's the way that I can interpret that. So this line here is for how things are going, where it is. You've got the Nine of Pentacles here, which is a really nice feeling of if your animal wasn't a goldfish, that it had a garden or an area or a place that it loved, and it's recreated that in the other world. It's like, it makes me think of something that's really happy outside but in an enclosed space with the Nine of Pentacles. Independence, so like a cat that had curled up under a favourite tree, or a dog that used to play outside in some area of the garden. That is what it's doing, it's recreating it. And I think that is what we do when we die. Humans and animals, our mindset basically and our experiences, they all get logged inside us in some way which we don't understand, and we take it with us. And that's why I think it's always best to try and think the best out of every situation. It's not always possible, and it's fun trying to do it when it's really hard. And I think that's the same with animals. They take with them how far they've gone. So what I'm picking up from this pile here with regards to your animal is a feeling of an animal that was scarred in some way, not in some dramatic way, as in like had a nip off its ear if it was a cat, or that it hurt itself when it was young, and there was something quite significant probably about the way it looked that you always notice, like a scar on its tummy, that type of thing, or something missing, even a leg missing or something with the Nine of Swords here. The Four of Cups here makes me think that your animal was very relaxed, could have been quite lazy until it wanted, until it was ready to do something else. It doesn't make me think of one of those animals that run around all the time and that are a bit high. I mean, spaniel, I love spaniels, but that, maybe it was a spaniel, but I don't know. But to me, this doesn't feel like a spaniel to me. And the Seven of Wands makes me think that it had its favourite spot, its favourite place. It was protective of you, protective of the home, protective of its cage, protective of something, and this makes me think of my husband, who used to go to work. We used to live near Basingstoke, a place called Fleet, and when he used to park his car, it was by a farmyard, and everybody parked their car there, and a goose used to attack all the people coming from the farmyard trying to get to work. All these men in suits going to their office used to get chased by a goose. It was women as well, but I imagine it was men, because one of the people that I heard about were all men. So it's very protective of where its home was, or its area where it lived. And there is a strange feeling here, which I can't interpret any other way, that your animal could have been highly sexed. And there are some animals, somebody was telling me Labradors are And so that's going to take it, they're going to take that with them. And that's what they are basically Pepe Le Pewing all the way in heaven, wherever heaven is. But there's a feeling here of reminiscing with regards to your animal, of feeling happy in an outdoor area, feeling happy in their environment and wanting that back, but not quite understanding where it is. And I said this in the first pile, that I read a book called The Boy Who Saw True, and and I actually didn't say the first pile, I said it in the introduction, and the guy, this young boy, used to be able to see animals and could see his tutor's Labrador with him. This could be a Labrador, you know. But the tutor couldn't see it. So your animal could have gone through a stage of wondering why you were, I don't mean to make you cry honestly, wondering why you're ignoring them. But then there's a feeling here of just generally moving away from that and just being happy and recreating that environment or that experience that you were allowed, that you gave this animal, which is, to me, feels like an outdoor experience, whether it was walks or whether you if it was a bird out of the cage, and to be in an environment that it felt free. And that is where it basically stays, chasing lady dogs or male dogs, whatever, and just generally being happy. Because there's content, there's a feeling of content here, there's a feeling of ease and outdoor. And that is where its mind's gone and its heart's gone, is those times that you gave that animal outside. And so if it's a horse, it's rides. If it's a dog, it's walks and the garden. If it's a bird, it's, you know, you let that bird out and let it fly free. Same with a hamster. My daughter used to have a hamster, and we've got a picture of this hamster. It's like full blown up. It looks, you know, it looks like a strange family, called Peanut. Well, it was the first hamster she had. It was the most beautiful hamster. We've all got animals like this, haven't we, that we really, really attach to. And it used to sit in her hand, and she was only young. She loves animals. Used to carry it around with her, and then she'd put it in the beanbag and watch TV after school with the hamster sat in her lap, and it would sit with her. It was the strangest, most beautiful animal. And it's funny, isn't it, how some animals just really, really click with them. And we had a cat as well that was almost knew what was going on. It was just so, it was like a human. Well, we've had loads of cats, but this one cat called Elmo was like human. He used to go walk. We used to take it for a walk down to the beach. He used to walk across the beach with us and come home. And she was really independent, didn't like fuss. So this Nine of Pentacles has that feeling here. So your animal may have been independent, didn't like lots of fuss, but liked to walk alongside you. Excuse me. Happiness, content, and independence, and being an individual. Your animal liked freedom, I guess, but liked an attachment. And I do think there's a feeling here that on first crossing over when they died, that they were wondered where you were, but was basically overtaken by just general happy disposition of chasing things. This process doesn't have to be sex, but with this here, an outdoor feeling, it could be just chasing things. But that could add to that as well as, you know, almost wondering, because the Devil card is Earth, it's Saturn, and the Five of Cups is something that's lost. So it could have been trying to recreate, but then has gone into what I feel as it moves this way of just being happy in the environment. And also, you know, as time continues, which they won't have time, but as things go on, this would tend to perhaps ebb away a little bit, and they would go more into this energy of outdoor happiness, content, being independent, being an animal before we domesticated them, just being its general nature. Now, what would your animal say to you if it could speak? I put that in the newsletter this week because I chased my dog around and I said, what would she say if she could speak? And I said, back off, desperate, which I think she probably would do. I'm trying to cuddle her. There's a feeling here of moving away and gaining what feels like strength. With the Magician and the King of Cups, if this was an animal, it would be possibly male because these are male cards here. But they're like king of the kingdom. So this new kingdom, which is the Nine of Pentacles, which I put up here, it's like they own it. It's like they are the top dog, the top cat, oh, I used to love that, of their kingdom. That's what they know. That's what they feel. It's like happiness and, you know, like being a lion in their own little place. It's like, look at me, I can do whatever I want. And it does have this feeling here that that's possible anyway. Really laid back, but basically boss. You know, boss dog, boss cat, boss pigeon, or whatever you had. And that's what it would want to say to you, that what I create for myself now inside it, inside the animal's head, I am happy, content, outdoors, and I can do anything I want. And there's a feeling here as well, which sounds really strange, that if your animal had the Magician card or the King of Cups is like a masculine energy that pushes outwards and makes something. So if this is the other world, so this animal is able to transform its experience in this other world into something where that they feel close to something or somebody. So this makes me feel, rather than another person, it makes me feel, because the Devil card, I don't know, it could be you. This could either they create their own, they have learnt how to recreate their own world in their little heads, that you are there, or there's another animal that they were close to is there with them. With the Devil card here, there's something possibly that they had on Earth, which doesn't have to be sex, I suppose, but it did make me laugh when I first saw it. It's like they recreate that in this world, where there's still love, because that is creating, and that is, compassion and love that they own, and this is independence. So to me, it makes me feel, if they wanted to tell you something, is that they are able to recreate the same feelings of love, the same experience of freedom that you gave them in this life. Which is not as funny as Pepe Le Pew, but that is what I've got, pile number 2. So I'm going to leave that there. So I hope that makes sense. These are unusual spreads, aren't they? But there's something different about them which I quite enjoy. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. Bye. Okay, pile number 3. When I do these readings, I've only done 2, and I've said this in each pile. They're unusual readings. I don't think many people watch them, but when I first did them, and I've only done 2, as I just said. I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I was quite anxious, I suppose, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know why, just because it's different, I think. So, and I do, for some reason, and I don't mean to be rude to you or to your animals, because I know the pain of losing an animal, and I think that animals teach us things about ourselves, and there's nothing like the love that you get from an animal, because it's unconditional, isn't it? But they do make me laugh, these, when I do them, because I think it's because I have to pretend I'm the animal with regards to looking at the cards, and there's something amusing about it, but I don't want it to be for you to feel that it's disrespectful to you, your animal. There's a feeling here that your animal's disposition, or who they were the kingpin, without doubt. You've got the 6 of Pentacles with the bull looking at me. You've got the King of Wands here with the lion sat on its throne, and the King of Wands anyway. And then you've got the Emperor card here. Your cat, your dog, your budgie, your reptile even was boss hog of its domain. This isn't like the run to the litter feeling here. This is an animal who strutted, knew who it was, and it owned its place in your house, or where it was definitely the most dominant animal there. It's got to be with the King of Wands and the Emperor card there. There's also a feeling of the 6 of Pentacles, of sheepdogs here with working animals, or Jack Russells, or something like that. That an animal that isn't seen as a working dog, or helps in some way. there's independence here, there's a strength here with this animal. There's a feeling that, you know, when you're walking, if it's a dog, it will be the dog will be in front. Oftentimes, you know, we've had different dogs and we always walk along a cliff path when we go back to Wales, and each dog is always in a different position. We had a dog that was more submissive that went in the centre, and most of the dogs, when they got huskies in them, I don't know if it's whether they're submissive or whether they've just got that need to move, always at the front. You know, pulling all the time. This has got a feeling of not so much pulling, but making sure that they were top dog, top cat. I had similar feeling to pile number 2 and always in the front. Now, also something I need to say, which has come out in every pile, and because you're asking, somebody asked who I know it is, how are your pets in spirit world? There is a feeling of a difficult transition here, and in each pile I've referred back to the Boy Who Saw True book, where I'm guessing the young Victorian boy who wrote the diary, could see, because he could see things that weren't there, his tutor's dog, which was dead. So to me, there's a feeling in all these piles, and it is in the piles rather than me just flicking back to the book and my memories, of a difficult transition. And I'm guessing this is where there's a period where they don't actually know that they're dead and they're still trying to be with you or recreate, around you, that environment until they've settled in a different place or different mindset that takes them to a different place, is what I'm thinking here. Because you've got the Five of Pentacles here, and this is how they've settled in this other area or this other world. And the Five of Pentacles is something that feels like it's shut out. So I think your animal, whether it is a reptile or a large mammal, or it could be a bird, but these are the main ones I've got here, especially large mammal, to be honest, that it had a period of adjusting and wanting, almost like being with you and wondering, and I don't mean to make you cry, and I've said this in each pile as well, why you weren't paying attention to them. Because it's just like, well, it's tea time, I'm here, I'm crying at you, that type of feeling, so where is it? But then you've got here the king, which is, this is an animal that is probably used to doing what it wants, when it wants, and adjusting itself to situations in some way. Well, that's wrong, actually. I don't really see these as being adjustable, any of these. It's like owning their domain, more so. And the Princess of Pentacles here makes me think that your animal has started setting itself up in this other area, this other world, as it did in this world with regards to its own patch and its own bowl, or its, right in top position of the cage. I don't know what type of animal it is, but it's like got a space for itself and a mindset for itself where it begins to own it again, and that is what's made it happy. The Four of Pentacles here, which is the most important, Four of Wands, sorry, which is the most important card, makes me think that, as I just said here, actually, and I wasn't looking at this card at the time, that it's set up its own house, its own home, its area where it feels comfortable. And that is where it feels secure. And I've got a feeling here that your animal likes to feel secure. It likes, things in a particular order with these cards here. This is my bed, this is my bowl. I like my food at 4 o'clock, this type of thing. And, if it's a horse, it's like, may not like other horses near it, may like its own space. And it makes me feel that the only person that possibly is allowed to interfere in this person's space is you, not other animals, and definitely not things that it's perceived as being lower than it, because of these cards here. And as I said earlier, there's been a period of readjustment where I think they've tried to follow the same routine, the same pattern, and realise that they're not getting the same comeback, which I guess as humans we may do this too. We may actually stay, I suppose, I don't know this obviously, earthbound, but I do have inklings of this for a period of time until, oh my gosh, I'm thinking of poltergeist here, until we're taken towards the light, until they move on somewhere else. Till their mind changes and they leave the grip of earth. And your dog, cat, whatever animal it is, has done that slowly. I assume has got itself into a mindset where it's recreating those things that it found, routine things. It's not a feeling of things it really loved. It's like everyday routine. That spot in front of the TV, or that beanbag by the window, or you know, going upstairs and sleeping on your bed, or, you know, whatever it did in its cage, or it's like sitting on that particular log and basking in the sun. I don't know. But there's a feeling that it's done that over and over and over again until it's felt right to them, and then the transition has happened naturally, rather than what I feel like, here's why won't you let me in. I don't mean to make anybody upset in these readings, but all 3 readings have come through exactly the same with the bottom line, a period of readjustment, which is something I think we need to take for ourselves, to relax. And as I said, I sent a newsletter out this week, which was titled the Joy of Underachieving. And I think this is part and parcel, this feeling here that's coming from animals is the same for ourselves. It's like to relax and to, you know, to sit back and watch sometimes, rather than, and I think it's a very Western culture thing, of push, 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 push all the time. I'm not saying, and I didn't say that, you know, be lazy. It was more a case of focus on what you want and just, you know, gentle, steady push and enjoy it, which is what this feels like. It feels like your animal initially has gone through a feeling of, where are you? You know, why am I walking through the wall? Or that there's everything's slight and easy feeling, and then it's gone back to its basic instinct and settled itself in, and that has pulled it away from what I guess, and I'm making this up, earthbound feeling. Now, what would it like to say to you? There's a strange feeling here of a Leo. There's a really strong feeling that the person I'm reading for, or even your animal, could be Leo. There's a King of Wands, Queen of Wands strength card here. So if you've got Leo quite heavy in your chart, this is what your animal would be saying to you is, you were boss hog, I was boss hog. This is really simple, that don't feel down by the fact I'm not there. I'm happy where I am. You know, I'm doing exactly the same things I did, and it feels exactly the same. Because it's like, don't carry that weight around with you. And it's like almost a feeling here of, I shone when I was with you. And it's almost a feeling here is like, you carry that on, because it goes from king to queen to strength and emperor. They're strong, I would, outgiving energies, fire energies. It's like, enjoy your life, you know, the way that you used to, or, you know, the walks that you used to do together. It's like, you know, keep doing that. Don't feel sorry for me because I'm happy. Don't carry that weight around with you. So I don't know whether I do my animals charts. I do. I don't remember them in detail, but I can remember thinking, oh my gosh, when I saw my dogs. And it is a bit of oh my gosh, to be honest. But I don't know whether you or your animal have got Leo in you, or a lot of fire energy. Which I would guess here, there was a lot of action between the pair of you, like you went out and did things together, lots of walks, or action to do with a cat, lots of playing. It's not like somebody you ignored, or an animal that you ignored and it just sat there. It's like you would have got that animal out of its cage and played with it, or, you know, whatever it was, or whether there's a dog, you would have been outdoors all the time with it. And that is what it's recreated to make itself feel stable. And that's what's worked, and that's how it's, and I just feel like Poltergeist has eased the transition here. And what they would be saying to you is, we were very similar natured, and that has got a feeling, which I said at the beginning, I think I said at the beginning, of reflection. It's like the bits that you loved in me are in you. So pull those out of yourself. I would guess if animals are really wise, that's what they may be saying. Because there is a feeling here, because there's so much wand energy on this side and this side, that, and we do tend to reflect on animals in different times of our lives. So all the bits that you adored in your animal are part of that, are already inside you, and probably to understand that, and not to worry about how this animal settled in, because to me it's like, it wouldn't want you to do that, because this energy pushes out. It doesn't go backwards and look backwards and think about sad things or, you know, missing. This is like, you know, don't carry that weight around with you anymore. Be your best self, because I think your animal was. This animal feels like it was somebody who shoved you off the couch. You know, I don't know if it is like a pigeon, but it's like somebody that shoved you off the couch. Somebody that was at the front of the pack. And it feels like this animal possibly could have been, this is why it makes me laugh, could have been a working animal. And that's why I said Jack Russell at the beginning. So if you're thinking, like, well, I don't know, performing budgie, Billy Smart Circus, I don't know, but there's a feeling here as well, the Six of Pentacles. This could also go with that mirrored feeling of weighing up and being reciprocated, feeling that your natures were extremely similar. But you could have had a working animal, some animal, like I keep saying sheepdog here. I don't know what other animals work. I mean, there's probably loads, aren't there? Like apart from like beasts in the field, you've got working dogs. You don't get working budgies or geese, do you? I don't know. If not, the thought is that this animal did something that helped you. Like, when you open the dishwasher and your dog comes and licks the plates, or that type of thing. It thought it was helping you. And that may be something. When I do the recycling on a Tuesday night, my dog helps me every time. And she's in the way. She has her face in the bin. And she's perusing over what's going in because she likes to chew the bottles. But she doesn't take the bottle when I'm doing it. She just has her face in. So your dog, your cat, your animal may have thought that it was helping you and working with you. I don't know what. I can even think of things like, a parrot watching, boil the kettle. There's something that your animal may have, you may have included it in an everyday routine with the Six of Pentacles there. Okay, right, pile number 3, I'm going to leave that there. I hope that didn't feel sad. I don't think it didn't feel sad to me, but all piles have got a period of transition where the animal doesn't know where it is, which is unusual for me, and, makes me think of things differently slightly when I, get more things coming towards me. But it wouldn't surprise me if that was so. And I think that's so for humans. Before I go, I was reading something. I don't even know what it was. It could have been something even in the newspaper where there was a car. No, it can't have been. Oh no, it can't have been the newspaper. What was it? I have no idea. There was a car crash. And within seconds, this person died in this car crash. And within seconds, they were back at home doing routine. And they didn't know that they were dead. And I don't know where I read it. It definitely wasn't in The Guardian. It was like they were making that cup of tea. They'd come in and they would sat down and they would write it. It was that type of everyday thing. But they didn't know they were dead. So that may have... may play a part in all 3 piles, because I think that possibly, the more I think about it, the more I come across things, the more I question them, I wonder whether that is true, and it would be the same for animals. Right, okay, pile number 1. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope that the times that you spend with your pets, they are precious, aren't they, and that we all grow, I think. I always have loads of pets for my kids because I think it teaches them how to love. I think it does teach them how to love. I think it's really important. And I know that seems a little bit awful for the pets, but as long as you're loving them, give them the best life they possibly can have. Okay, I'm going to go. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm reaching out is why I'm squeaking. Bye.